sure you're well aware by now that yesterday Apple announced their iPhone 4S. No, it is not an iPhone 5. Yes, a lot of people are disappointed, but that's because they read the rumor sites, and you're just setting yourself up for disappointment if you read all those, because the rumor sites promise the world, and then you only get the moon, and then you're upset. So don't read the rumor sites. I mean, they're interesting to read, but don't go by them ever. But to the point of this video, this isn't going to be like a full overview of the keynote like I did for WWDC. That was like a good hour of footage, and that was, just crazy that I regretted doing that and when I was editing, because it just took forever, and I doubt many people even watched that all the way to the end. So this is just going to be an overview. Not even really an overview, but just sort of like my thoughts on the iPhone 4S and why I'm getting it and why some people are disappointed. So let's just go ahead and jump right into Apple's site here, and I'm just going to briefly go through each one of these, and I'll tell you why I like it and why I think it's the best phone on the market, why I won't be getting something else, because on my contract I am due for an upgrade. So this came out just in time, and I will be pre-ordering this phone on this coming Friday on the 7th, and I will be getting this phone, so I'm expecting a lot of content and everything like that. But so getting into the features here, first off is Siri, probably the biggest thing of the whole event. It kind of stole the show at the end. This was, I guess, sort of the one more thing. It is kind of a subtle one more thing, but Siri, it's basically voice prompts just gone crazy. Every phone, even my phone, which is just an LG NV3, it's very old. My speaker doesn't even work, that gives you an idea of how old it is. But it has basic voice commands. I could say, call mom, and it'll call my mom. But, that's basically it. And a lot of phones, that's all it does have. Sorry for the dramatic change of lighting there. A lot of phones just have, the basic voice to text, and even Android has pretty advanced voice to text. You could type out a text message with your voice, but you can't really do things throughout the OS with your voice. Now, this is one thing that Apple does great. Apple has been lacking in certain features, cut, copy, paste. They came back and did it, but the Apple style is to, they say Android has that feature, that voice to text. Apple doesn't only come back and release just that, but they take it, 5 steps further and release something that no one else has, and that's the typical Apple style. They don't just get even, they win. They punch everyone else square in the face and they bust their teeth. And so Siri, you can say something like, what's the weather like today? And it'll bring up the weather for your current location, and it just works so seamless. It works great. And even in the keynote they mentioned it was beta software, and Scott Forstall, he just said, do I need an umbrella today? And it brought up the weather, and Scott Forstall said, wake me up at 6 a.m. tomorrow, and it set an alarm for him. You can move stuff around within your phone, you can arrange meetings, you can have it set a dinner reservation for a hotel or for a restaurant that you ask it to. It can do so many things that, if you're behind the wheel of your car, you'll get in an accident trying to do with your fingers. So the voice will save lives, and it'll save you a lot of time. Moving on is to the A5. This is just straight performance. I believe it also has more RAM. I didn't catch that in the keynote. I did watch it, but I just forget. But it does have a dual-core processor now, which, yeah, other smartphones have a dual-core processor, but a dual-core processor is no better than a single-core processor if your software isn't optimized for it, if your software isn't as light as it can be. And iOS will just take full advantage of this dual-core chip much better than Android ever would. Moving on to the camera. This is probably going to be one of the biggest things that I use this phone for, is a camera. I'll probably end up recording a lot of my YouTube videos with this iPhone until I can get an actual camera. As you guys know, right now I'm just using a webcam. It's not good. It's starting to crap out on me. And so this phone, I can literally take a 1080p video and just prop it up, and I'd probably have great video and probably pretty good sound. So I'll probably end up just using my iPhone to take my YouTube videos for a while. And this I can even take on the go. I can use FaceTime, with the 8 megapixel camera. They've added a 5th lens, so the camera just blows all the other phones away. They went really in depth in the keynote in explaining everything about this camera. They've increased the aperture to let more light in, so now low light performs better. Just everything like that. This camera is definitely killer, and to believe that something this advanced, they have like DSLR features within that lens in a freaking smartphone. It's just kind of crazy to think about that. So next up is obviously iOS. iOS 5 is going to come pre-installed on this. If you have like an iPhone 4, it's going to be a free upgrade, which is very awesome considering all the great features it has. I'm not sure if the Siri is going to be on the iPhone 4 or not. There's rumors that it really needs a dual-core processor, but I really can't verify this, and I don't think they said in the keynote. But I do believe this is that the Siri is strictly going to be for the iPhone 4S. But either way, an iPhone 4 running iOS 5 will still give you many more great features. Moving on to iCloud, this is definitely not just the iPhone 4S. This is everything from macOS 10 Lion to iOS. Everything is just going to be backed up to the cloud, delivered from device to device instantly. It's just going to be a very great way to integrate everything. Keeping everything in sync will just be automatic. You won't even have to think about it, and the technology is doing all the work for you. As soon as you purchase something, it's there. I can take a picture and it's on my computer at home. So it's just a very great feature. This iCloud feature makes coming to Apple's walled garden, or the Apple ecosystem, very tempting. Just because no other company can really do this sort of stuff right now. They can, but either they don't have the money, the resources, the time, or just the ambition to. But if you buy an iPhone without thinking about it, without really having to even set it up, other than enter your Apple ID, there's no setting up of iCloud. It just works. That's their slogan for it. It just works, and it does. And really, I haven't used it yet, obviously, but I will be using it soon enough. And from the demos and the keynote, it does just work. Moving on to the Retina display, this is nothing new at all from the iPhone 4. It's the same resolution, the same very beautiful, crisp screen. Nothing has changed there, but it is included. A lot of people were hoping to have, me included, a bigger screen, like a 4-inch screen, but I'd rather have a smaller screen with a higher resolution than a bigger screen with a lower resolution. That's like hooking up my computer to a full 1080p TV, but if it's 40 inches and I can get the same resolution on my 24-inch monitor, the 24-inch monitor is going to look better than that bigger screen. I'd much rather have a smaller screen with a higher pixel density, and that's exactly what the iPhone 4 and the 4S have. And next here is just FaceTime. FaceTime, remarkable feature, stuff that was unheard of just a few years ago. We can now do it seamlessly. Wi-Fi, I believe it is also working on 3G. Just a great way to keep in touch, and the front-facing camera on the iPhone 4 and 4S just makes it that much more enjoyable. And so, like I said, there's nothing new there, but it's definitely a nice feature. So now that I've briefly gone over the specs of this phone, the new things that have changed from the iPhone 4, 3GS, everything like that, it's very safe to say that I am getting one. I'm pre-ordering it this Friday. And the main reason I'm getting one is because I don't have a smartphone. The only smartphone I've ever owned is this. And one, it was never activated. This has always just been used as an iPod Touch with a camera. But that was back in the day when the iPod Touch didn't have a camera. And so I've had this for years, and now it literally just sits here on my desk. It's mainly for decoration. It's just another Apple thing to have. It's a piece of history. This is what changed the smartphone industry. So I'm definitely going to be holding on to this. Plus, I got it, the box signed from Walk and Crow, or Pox from Two Smart Guys. You guys can view all their videos, great stuff. But I will be getting this iPhone 4S. I'm not sure if I'm going to be like jailbreaking it or anything. I might and I might not. I'm still undecided. But just everything that this phone has definitely outdoes what it doesn't have. Sure, it's not an iPhone 5, but the inside is what really counts. If the design has stayed the same, great. It's a great design. If you're going to be upgrading from an iPhone 4 to this, you won't have to get a new case. Just many things go into this that make it an easy decision for me to get it. There are cheaper phones, everything, but you get what you pay for. And the iPhone 4S is probably, at least in my opinion, it is the best smartphone on the market. It's the most advanced smartphone, the most advanced OS on a smartphone, and all that together I'm going to get the 32 gig model. So all that for $300 is definitely worth it. I'm a geek, I gotta have a smartphone. So I will be getting one. If you were disappointed in the keynote, let me know why down in the comments. If you love the keynote, if you're getting one, if you're not getting one, let me know below in the comments. But for now, that's pretty much it for this video. So if you have any questions or want to know my thoughts about something, or request a video or anything, I'm at CPU Kid on Twitter. Go ahead and hit me up there. I just got a new channel design, so comment on my channel and tell me how you guys like it. And I will be announcing my giveaway in about 2 days. So with that said, thanks for watching.